Hey guys, welcome back to Life with Mrs. B. Welcome to another sit down video. Today I'm sharing with you something very interesting. I may have already filmed this video several times, so we'll get there eventually. Hopefully this is the last try because I'm very tired. But today we're talking about discipline. How I discipline my kids. It's something that has been asked quite a lot. Back when I used to have YouTube comments, people would leave me nice comments and say things like, how do you get your kids to behave so nicely? Why do your kids like behave like that? What other things? People saying like they can tell I'm doing a good job parenting. All that is so lovely. Thank you so much. I also get a lot of DMs saying things like that as well, saying they can tell I try really hard and I'm a good mom. That nearly made my heart cry. But thank you so much. And I just want to talk a little bit about that, how I think I get my kids to act that way, and possibly how you can too if your kids are not the best behaved. I'm going to talk about that. But let me start this off by saying, when you guys see videos here on my YouTube channel, or maybe it's my Instagram stories, those little tiny like 10-15 second snippets, those, some posed Instagram pictures or Facebook, whatever it is, you need to remember that me and pretty much everybody else, let me turn you guys around a little, there we go, ta-da! You need to remember that people use their social medias as highlight reels. You don't see the crappy bits on social media, and that's just the way it is. Does that mean that I am not honest with you guys? No, I don't think it does. I think it just means that I have respect for my kids, and that when they are having a really crap day, I don't film that and put it on the internet. That's not who I am. That's not what my channel's about or my content's about. It's just not me. I don't think you should put stuff like that on the internet. I don't think, well, I know I have actually unfollowed quite a few people over the last couple of months who have put pictures and videos of their kids on the toilet or the potty, and I think that's really inappropriate. I don't think you should put that on there. So I have reported those pictures or videos and then unfollowed that person. So shame on you if you do that. But just because I don't share that my kids are acting like little buggers doesn't mean they don't act like little buggers. Of course they do. They're kids. Not even that they're kids. They're human. So bear that in mind when you look at my stories or a YouTube video. Bear in mind that you see what I want you to see. You don't see the bits where the kids are not acting the best. You don't see that. So bear that in mind. And now onto the good stuff. When you think about disciplining kids, what do you think of? Do you think of timeouts? Do you think of shouting? Do you think of like consequences, like removing something from them? You know, if you throw this ball again, this ball will go in the box and you won't get it back for a week, whatever it is. Is that what you think of? To me, that's not discipline. To me, they are all punishments. To me, discipline is to teach your kids, to instruct them, and to guide them. I just think that's what discipline is. Now, you might have your own opinion on it, and that's cool. We can still be friends. That's cool. But the word discipline actually comes, because I did do my homework, from the Latin word of disciplina, which means instruction and knowledge. It doesn't mean smacking. It doesn't mean screaming. That's what it means. If you think about how Jesus disciplined or discipled his disciples, he did not smack them, he did not scream at them, he did not yell at them, he did not take away their toys. Like, well, I don't think his disciples had toys. Some of them were kind of young, but I don't think they had toys. He taught them, he instructed them, he guided them. So that is how I try and think about discipline. So does that mean, okay, so Paula, you don't smack your kids, you don't shout at your kids, you don't put your kids in timeout. Does that mean they just do what they want? No, they do not. Just because I don't do those things doesn't mean my kids get to do what they want whenever they want. It's not how it works. It doesn't mean I'm a pushover. It doesn't mean they can walk all over me. It doesn't mean I'm a passive parent. It doesn't mean I'm a lazy parent. It means that I choose to discipline my kids by discipline rather than by punishment or by force. So to discipline my kids, I teach them, I instruct them, and I guide them. And I remember TIG, teach, instruct, guide, or maybe it goes that way for you guys. I remember that whenever my kids drive me insane and I want to like sell them to the lowest bidder, like I'll just take any money. Like, do you know what, I'll pay you, you take them. I try and remember teach, instruct, guide. And you've probably heard before, what would Jesus do? WWJD. We used to have bracelets like that when I was a kid. Anybody else? But yeah, I kind of think things like that. Like, what would Jesus do? Would Jesus scream at them and smack their backside? No, he wouldn't. He would explain to them, look, this isn't what we do because XYZ. You know, this is how it makes people feel when you do X. Do you want to make your sister, your brother feel like this, or do you want to make them feel like this? Do you want to show love and serve people, or do you want to shout and scream that no, you're not going to set the table? So it's a very different mindset. I don't have any books that I follow about it. I don't actually have anyone like on YouTube whose videos I watch about it, but that's just what I do. And for the most part, it works pretty well for us. I just try and think, like, I don't smack my kids because first up, it hurts. Second up, what gives you the right to smack somebody? I don't think there is a right to smack somebody just because they're a kid. Just because your kids are young in age or in height or whatever it is, doesn't mean that they're not a human. Like, everybody's a human. We're all human. We're all people. Just because they're young doesn't mean they don't deserve those rights that you would give to someone who is an adult. If I think about it as in, if we're teaching our kids, if someone disobeys you, you've asked them not to do something and they do it anyway, or they do it again, if they disobey you and you've told them, hey look, we don't do that, and they don't listen, then do you know what we do? We smack them. That's what you're kind of teaching your kids if you smack your kid. You're not teaching them, you know, like, I don't know what people think they're teaching them, but that's what you're teaching them. They're teaching them, if you don't listen to me, I'm going to smack you. So when that kid grows up, could you imagine if they go into work one day and they have got to deal with someone who works for them and they are not listening, and they've been told multiple times to listen and do something this way, and they still go against what you said, and then your kid turns around and smacks them? That's not good. The police will be phoned, they will be charged with assault, they'll probably lose their job, because that's not acceptable. And yet we do it to kiddies. So that's something to think about if you do smack your kids. Like, think about it like that. Are we teaching our kids to be gentle and loving and kind, or are we teaching them to be angry and shouty? Are you modeling that behaviour yourself? Something to think about. So I know some people will be like, no, I'm going to keep putting my kid in timeout, and that's cool. If you want to put your kid in timeout, you go for it. But I have found when my kids have been in timeout, because I have done it, they do not think about how sorry they are and how they wish they had never done XYZ. They're thinking about how they're going to get their brother back because their brother tattled on them and now they're in timeout. So how can they get back at their brother? And my kids have told me that. Like, when I've said to them, okay, sit here for a few minutes, think about what you've done. When I go back to them, I say, did you think about what you've done? And one of my kids said once, no, I thought about how when I get out of this place, I'm going to get my brother and I'm going to squeeze him. Like, that's what one of my kids said. So I don't think timeout works for us. Again, if it works for you, cool, you do what works for you. But I just don't think it's great. So I talk to my kids, I tell them, look, this is what you've done, this is why it's wrong, this is what we should have done, blah 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 blah. And I find that they don't really do it again. So some people might say, no Paula, that's kind of lazy. I think it's lazy just to slap your kid rather than to spend time with them and teach them and instruct them and show them, like, what's that word, model the behaviour that you want them to do. I think it's lazy just to slap them instead of doing that. So that's just my opinion. And as I said, just because my kids look like they're good all the time doesn't mean they are. They're human. We all have good days, bad days, days where we can't really be bothered. And that's about it, guys. I don't have some magic potion on how to get your kids to behave. I think it just comes down to modelling good behaviour, teaching them, talking about good behaviours quite a lot, and not raising your voice as best as you can. Don't scream at them and don't smack them. I think that is a way to raise good kids. So let me know, guys, what is your opinion on this? How do you discipline your kids? Comments are off, but you can hop on over to my Instagram and talk with me there, or you can also chat with me on my blog. I'll probably turn this into a blog as well. So without further ado, guys, I will see you in my next video. I do new videos every Monday, Wednesday and Friday, and I'll see you then. Bye!